Hello, everybody, and welcome to an emergency edition of Inside Devils here on talkSPORT's YouTube channel. Ruben Amorim has been sacked. We've had to have an instant reaction from ourselves. We will be doing the show tomorrow, of course, but we have to welcome him, Angelina Kelly, Ryan Statman Douglas, and of course Alex Crook, because what a revelation, what a 24 hours in the aftermath after the Leeds game at Ellen Road. An insane press conference from Manchester United, not from Manchester United, from Ruben Amorim, that left us all scratching our heads thinking, what on earth has happened here? And we wake up to the news pretty much earlier today, around about 9:30, that Ineos have made a decision to part ways with Ruben Amorim. This is not mutual consent. This is a sacking. However, I do think there must have been some intent from Amorim to get to this scenario. Alex Crook, Crookie, let's start with you. It's been a torrid time under Ruben Amorim for 14 months. Are you shocked at this news? What's your thoughts on what's happened?
No, certainly not shocked. We reported on talkSPORT on Sunday evening that Ruben Amorim's position was very much in the balance following that explosive post-Ellen Road press conference in which really he turned on his paymasters, didn't he? Jason Wilcox, who he named, I think Christopher Vivell, the head of recruitment, was in the firing line as well. He had a pop at club legends like Gary Neville and basically suggested that people within the corridors of power at Old Trafford are being influenced by what pundits like Neville say. I'm sad in some ways because I've got to say I always found Ruben Amorim a pleasure to deal with. I do think he was a thoroughly decent guy, clearly a very skilled coach, and I wanted him to do well. But the increasing feeling as the weeks and months have gone on is that he's out of his depth. You and I have been pretty forthright in our opinion of some of the performances. And you look at his record, 14 months in charge, more than 60 games. He's failed to win more than half of those matches at the helm. We had the debacle in Bilbao, when I think there was probably a case to be made for sacking him on the spot after being tactically outmuscled by Ange Postecoglou. That in itself is a sacking offence for me. Yes, the league table makes much better reading this season, but you look at the performances. Grimsby in the League Cup was another nadir. Again, potentially could have been sacked after that game. 10-man Everton at home was an abomination of a performance. Again, he couldn't have complained if he got his P45 then. They failed to beat West Ham at home. They failed to beat Wolves at home. And yes, they scored 4 goals against Bournemouth. They still didn't win. And Bournemouth haven't won literally for months. So even the victories...
Still haven't won, yeah. Still haven't won
even the victories. They beat Chelsea, but Chelsea had their goalkeeper sent off early on. We all waxed lyrical about the performance against Arsenal on the opening day of the season. Message for you guys. We still lost. The fact of the matter is, he didn't win enough football matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, I know you've been a big advocate of Ruben Amorim staying at United and building, and you've been the one to sort of calm down the likes of me and Crookie alongside Ange. You guys have been the peacemakers of making sure we keep calm and just let it play out. And it's over. It's over. How do you feel?
Do you know what? I feel like I can't complain with the fact that he's been sacked. You just can't complain. At the end of the day, especially now that he's 10 years over, was he good enough? No. I mean, I've got the underlying stats here. I mean, he averaged 1.23 points per game. That is absolutely shocking. In the Premier League, he won 15, lost 19, and he drew 13 out of 47. So, look, now that we've got kind of a stop there, and we can look back at his tenure, the worst manager post-Fergie. Of course, I can't complain with that. But I have to say, Flex, the timing, I'm scratching my head. I just don't understand it. And it just furthers... I've never been angry with the board. I've never been angry with the higher-ups. I don't understand. I feel like they've wasted my time, Flex. I feel like they've wasted our time. What are they doing getting rid of him just after Christmas when we're 6th in the table? There's been clear, albeit minute, but there's been progression when you look at where we are in the Premier League. Has he been fantastic? No, like I say. But why make that decision now? It just
feels like... Because they're not sacking him for results.
Yeah, exactly. If you think,
to dress it up like they have, but they
if you think that they sacked him because of the results, over the past couple of games, that is absolute nonsense. You need to give your head a wobble. That is not the case. It's because he's challenged the hierarchies, as Crookie, alluded to there, and it's simple as that. They expect us to be patient with the manager, but they can't demonstrate patience if he has an outburst like that. I don't think that was news to them, that post-match conference. There's no way he's communicating that for the first time. No way.
Absolutely not.
It's excuses for me from the board. And once again, I'm sat here, guys, and it feels shambolic all the way through. The players on the pitch, the manager, the board, where do you start? Where do you pinpoint it? In answer to your question, am I shocked Amorim's gone? Am I sad? Sad for him. He seemed, I wanted him to be successful, like Crookie said, but I'm fuming. I'm absolutely fuming with just how we're here again.
Yeah, it's a set of circumstances, and that's just it, Angelina, that what Ryan just said there to close off. How are we here again? About to embark on whatever the new process to get behind, the new patience we have to demonstrate and time given. What's your feelings towards what's happened?
I think I was in shock. I get what everybody's saying, that you can't on paper complain about Ruben Amorim being sacked because overall he hasn't been good enough. But again, it's the reasons for him being sacked, because it's not because of the system, because they knew about the system when they brought him in. So, and it's because of this relationship with someone like Jason Wilcox being fractured that has caused this. But for me, how do you trust the board? So Jim Ratcliffe publicly stated that he should be given the entirety of the 3-year contract. Obviously, that's changed. And when you do a deep dive into this club statement, they've said that getting rid of Ruben Amorim will give the team the best opportunity of the highest possible Premier League finish. They're already in 6th. I don't really know how much higher, realistically, Man United can climb. But they've still got nobody to replace him. I think we'll probably get into Darren Fletcher a little bit more. Laughable for me, to be completely honest. We've got somebody who has no experience managing an adult team. But whatever. And also, they've said that there have been no power struggles or ultimatums. Ruben's had unwavering support from everyone. We've not seen enough signs of evolution or progress. Yeah, you can argue that. But I just think when you look at the amount of money that's being spent, spent around £250 million since Ruben Amorim arrived. And this whole Jason Wilcox thing, I don't get why this guy is... and you know why he's being backed, because they've brought him in and they already messed up with Dan Ashworth. But on paper, why are we even backing this guy? This is someone who was Man City's under-18s manager, became academy director, was at Southampton to oversee their relegation, then joins Man United, gives Ten Hag a new deal, then sacks him in October, brings Amorim in, sacks him 14 months later. What success has Wilcox had to stay in his job?
100%.
Why are United putting so much faith in his decisions? He was supposed to be best in class. And you look at other clubs, sporting directors. You've got Andrea Berta at Arsenal, came from Atletico Madrid. Man City had Cheeky Benigstein, I might have said his last name incorrectly, but from Barcelona. Replaced him with Hugo Viana from Sporting Lisbon. Liverpool have Richard Hughes, who did a great job working at Bournemouth. We don't line up. And you think about the amount of money that they have spent. Eric Ten Hag payout, £10.4 million. Dan Ashworth, £4.1 million. Reportedly, it's going to be for Ruben Amorim's whole tenure of bringing him in and getting rid of him, £27.35 million. That money could have been spent on not making tea ladies redundant. And it's literally the incompetence of these powers that be. So that's my initial reaction for it, is I just don't understand it. And I just think for him having a spat, which everyone does in life with one of the hierarchy, that is a reason to get rid of him. I just don't get it.
Yeah, listen, I think it's... go on.
I concur with all of that, Flex, and you're absolutely right. And I don't think it's a great look on the board, because this is not a results-based decision. This is the result of a breakdown in the relationship between Jason Wilcox and Ruben Amorim. We know how close Jason Wilcox is to Omar Barada, so there was only going to be one winner in that spat. I think Ruben Amorim probably knew that when he did the mic drop and literally walked out of the press conference. However, this is not even comparable to Enzo Maresca, because Enzo Maresca felt emboldened to go to war with the Chelsea hierarchy because he won a European trophy, he qualified for the Champions League, he won the Club World Cup, whatever stock you put in that. Ruben Amorim has not won enough football matches to all of a sudden try and be the main man in this relationship. Okay, he should have counted himself fortunate that actually the hierarchy and the Manchester United fans have kept faith with him for so long. Now, I'm not defending Wilcox and Barada. My personal opinion is that those two should be under scrutiny as well. But I think Ruben Amorim has taken advantage of the patience that the board, and more specifically the Manchester United fans, have shown in him, because the match-going fans, you're there week in, week out, Flex, they've stuck by their manager, as they always do. And that means that every bad performance, every Grimsby, every Wolves, every Bilbao, doesn't come with any consequence. And I think he arrogantly just thought he could keep on playing this rubbish system, which goes against the DNA of the football club, keep boring the pants off us, and he would just see out his 3-year contract. I'm sorry, Ruben Amorim, you're the Manchester United manager. Your job,
Head
one,
coach.
is to win football matches, head coach, and 2 is to entertain. And he was doing neither.
I agree. I agree with everything everybody said. I feel like this is a very interesting situation where actually both sides are like actively culpable for what's gone on. Because I think Ineos, since they've come into our football club, every single major decision they have made has been wrong. Don't get me wrong. They might have improved some recruitment here and there. You know, can two things be true at once? Buying Aiden Heaven for £1.5 million is good business. Getting Mateus Cunha and Brian Mbumo, that's good business. That's sort of, even if Ruben gets sacked, I was saying that at the time, even if Ruben gets sacked, they're just good players. That's fine. Let's park that to one side. But the big decisions, we all know what happened with Erik ten Hag before that FA Cup final. They wanted him gone. They were too scared to do it. He won the FA Cup. They kept him. They invested into him. Then they spent money sacking him. Then they told us, all the fans, like Ange always brings up, and rightly so, and like we always knew at the time, they told us that we need to cut back. You know, we're going to run out of money by Christmas if we don't make all of these tough changes. And the same money that they saved to put people out of work is the same money that they wasted with mistakes with Dan Ashworth as well and Erik ten Hag. They then let Omar Barada, who's new through the door, who has not been used to working at this level, lead the recruitment for the manager and say, I want him, which was the end of Dan Ashworth because he didn't want Ruben Amorim. So they said, you can clear off as well. And then 10 months later, after, you know, the last international break, you see Sir Jim Ratcliffe saying, I want to give this manager 3 years. That's what I'll be giving Ruben. We believe in his vision. You've got Jason Wilcox sitting on Inside Carrington saying how great everything is and we believe in this process and all this stuff. It's all a load of rubbish. It's all phony. We've been led down the garden path, and that's where Ryan's right. They've wasted our time, invested into a system that is not synonymous with our club, that doesn't suit our current squad, and then they even went forward to like not really give him the players that he needs to do that. And then back to Ruben Amorim now. How dare you, in the position you're in, start calling out the people who have stayed with you the longest? You couldn't write it. You absolutely couldn't write it. And then Man United fans are sort of getting confused. And this is what I want us to stay on track with. Not necessarily us, but all of us together as a fan base watching this, right? We can't make Ruben out as some sort of martyr, okay? That I'll speak up against the establishment guys. I'll lose my job. I'll be the fool guy. No, you had 14 months to improve us. And actually, Ryan, do you know what? I said I agree with everything. I slightly disagree with one thing. I don't think we have improved that much. Yes, by the league table we have. But I think actually it's quite nuanced when you look at it because I know you can only play the season you're in. But we're confusing... I think we're confusing encouragement and positivity and improvement with sort of the league being a bit stagnant. You know, in any normal season, Liverpool would have capitalised on us messing up and we'd be 9 points off top 4. Chelsea would be gone, would be and that, how we feel about this season wouldn't be that. We're only like 4 or 5 points off of like 15th, 16th. We're closer to those teams than we are to the team that's third. So the league so far is like a false hope of like, we've got better. And where was this? Do we look fresher in games? Do we play better football? Do we look like we've improved when there's one game a week? Nothing else to... Are you ready to put us out the Carabao Cup? And then said he would leave then as well, by the way? Nonsense. Nonsense. We haven't got no better for me.
Do you know what I think? I can't disagree, to be honest with you. And when I say we got better, it's minute. It's because the bar was so low. I think that's what the bar was so low.
Because it's so low, we're going, well, it's better than last season. Last season, we should never speak about that ever again as Man United. We're 15th. We're 15th. Do you know what I mean? It's just shocking. And I just... Now, for me, before I hand over back to you guys, I am absolutely frightened at what Ineos have planned now. Because as a fan, they have filled me personally with zero confidence that they can make the correct decisions and stand by them. And... you know, I don't believe in what they're doing. I don't believe in what they're saying. Between them and Amorim, we were just fed either emotional rants or lies or incompetency. And I now, as a United fan, don't know what's around the corner. And that actually worries me. Because some people say, well, you wanted Amorim sacked. You should be happy. on one hand, he wasn't good enough, so that's good. But to put your faith into these guys to actually manage us out of this situation, what are they going to do next? Get somebody who they need to be a puppet? That's what's going to happen.
Well, it's a bizarre situation. Darren Fletcher, as I understand it, will be in charge for these next two games. Burnley away in the league on Wednesday, which is a must-win, and then Brighton in the Cup at the weekend, which is huge as well, because that's the only chance, really, of salvaging anything tangible from the season, certainly by way of a trophy. Then there's a suggestion there'll be another interim manager coming in until the end of the season, by which time the likes of Oliver Glasner will be a free agent. Thomas Tuchel may even be a free agent, although obviously that won't happen until after the World Cup. But only Manchester United could replace an interim with an interim. And do we remember, by the way, the last time we went down the interim route with Wreck-It Ralph? It was an absolute disaster. Interim appointments don't work because the players know, and this is still quite a volatile dressing room and a hard-to-manage dressing room, that this guy's not going to be here for more than 5 minutes, so why do we need to listen to him?
Agreed. And I mean, on to Darren Fletcher. We know he's taking over the next couple of games. Crookie's just sort of, spoke about what happened last time. What's your thoughts on getting Darren Fletcher?
It might be a nice moment for the Fletcher family that, Darren's going to be in charge. His twin sons, might be, in a starting 11, or maybe he'll put them on as subs, father and two sons that have all played for Man United, and now he's coach. Yeah, that'd be a nice, sweet little moment for Instagram, but I just don't get it. I mean, he was head coach of Man United's under-18 side, was a coach under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but not for that long, and then he was a technical director, kind of like a Mark Noble-esque technical director at West Ham. So no experience managing an adult team, unless Man United think that he's United's version of, like club legend Mikel Arteta with Arsenal. Unless they think he's going to be that, I'm just very, very confused. And do they honestly think, and maybe I'll eat my words because we all know about the new manager bounce and all that rubbish, but do they honestly think that Man United can finish A, higher than 6th, and B, with Darren Fletcher, and C, to do that whilst completely disrupting the order of things? I just don't get it. And again, it's Man United doing things the complete wrong way. And if they were sacking him for the real reasons of you've not been good enough and we don't like your system and A, B and C, then they should have got rid of him after the Europa League final. But they've done like they did with Ten Hag and kept it going on and kept it going on. And now it's halfway through a season. And let's be honest, I didn't have high expectations for the rest of this season, but I was at least, looking forward to it and seeing what would happen. But now you're kind of almost calling it a bit of a write-off because it's not going to be the manager that you're going to have in the new season. So like you say, players aren't going to be up for playing for him, or whoever else it is. So it's just a little bit frustrating when you look at the rest of the season because so far I know things haven't been perfect, but the last, we have had some tangible things to take away, and we have had some good moments like the Liverpool win. So it's just a bit frustrating, but I know Crookie and I have, as I'm sure we've all done a lot of conversations today, we were also talking about what does this mean for Kobbie Mainoo? I'm sure we said he's probably popping a bottle of champagne, bless him, but what does this mean for Marcus Rashford? What does this mean for Jadon Sancho even? Is there a road back for them? I don't know. There's
steady on.
I'm not saying there should be. But there could be. And so there's just so many questions and no answers, and it's frustrating.
So many questions and not enough answers. Yes, Crookie, before we wrap up.
Well, no, it just proves it, actually, that if this was a footballing decision and they've been building up to it because the recent results haven't been good enough, they would at least have the semblance of a plan in place. The fact they don't seem to have
it's been done off emotion. This has been done off emotion.
That this has been building since a conversation took place, I think, before the Leeds game between Ruben Amorim and Jason Wilcox, in which, again, I think Ruben was told he needed to change his style and be more adaptable. He presented, as I understand it, a list of potential signings in this January window. He was told in no uncertain terms, we're not going to sign these players for you. And I think he knew then the relationship was a breaking point. Jason Wilcox has fed that back to the hierarchy. And I think they'd probably made their minds up to get rid of him even before the Leeds game. And it was just the final straw. He comes into the press conference. He literally drops the mic, doesn't he? Because he says his piece and then he walks out the room and never to be seen again. And then you get images of him sort of grinning away, walking in the snow in Cheshire with Mrs.
Staged,
Amorim.
by the way, because who's walking in the snow? It's like, that is icy. Let me tell you,
I
that's
think
snow
I'd
and
have
ice
prefer-
in
I'd have
Manchester.
preferred him to keep a low profile, I think, and I'm not sure we really needed to see that.
No, I just think it just shows you where he's at. He's always said loads of times, they said if they sack me, no problem. They get another guy, no problem. I'm here till I'm here. He's always been very clear on that. He's got his Ray-Bans on, mate. He's £9.5 million.
He wasn't scared.
He
wasn't scared of the sack.
No,
and it comes
not
back
at
to what I'm
all.
saying.
And he said it loads of
didn't
times.
fear the consequences of bad performances. It didn't hurt him enough.
No.
I would say that.
Exactly. There you go. Guys, we've got a massive show for you tomorrow on Inside Devils where we are going to be in the studio. We're going to get into everything in even more detail. But as is the situation, we had to come and give you guys instant reactions to what has happened today with Ruben Amorim being, I was going to say made redundant, but being relieved, but being...
Getting a load of cash.
What a type of redundancy. It is a redundancy, and you get redundancy, here's your payout. But Ruben Amorim being sort of relinquished of his duties at Manchester United and being sacked by Ineos. That is the big news that has happened today. A big thank you to Angelina Kelly, Alex Crook, and Ryon, Mr. Statman Douglas. And we will see you tomorrow for our usual episode, an in-depth episode, a massive episode of Inside Devils. Thank you for watching.